So nothing says Friday like, well, a full bench. And we've got a lot to cover today, so let's get right into it. First this week, some of the new equipment that showed up, I guess we'll cover a lot of new equipment, was a monitor from Banggood, a little 4.3 inch, like $19. Ta-da! It is now going to sit nice and firm on top of the FPV station, and basically the ground station really is autonomous because I've got two sets of goggles now with the Quantum and my Fat Sharks, plus the 7-inch display. So I really just needed something I could check the DVR, do playbacks, and verify that it's actually recording. So that is perfect. Same thing I set up on the camera. So really happy that that showed up. Then this afternoon, I was having tracking issues with Canada Post, so I had no idea this actually had cleared. But this is a small order from Hobby King. We're going to jump right into this thing because what this allows me to do this weekend is very simply put, build, because apparently we're going to be suffering from a polar vortex. Winds, cold temperatures, it's April, for heaven's sakes, please let me go flying. So I have you check this. I do have my checklist with me. I guess I should get a pen to go through it real quick, but basically this is a small order which will allow me to dig into the two flight test planes, the FT Racer. Move the arrows, we'll talk about those in a bit. Put those down here, don't step on. The FT Racer, replacing the old, now retired one, and the FT Explorer, which is a fantastic airplane, I've been told, and I'm really looking forward to doing some fun FPV with that. So let's dive into this box, because this box basically contains most of the parts that I'll need to get those airplanes back in the air. Okay. So, my favorite motor, the 2830-11 1000 kV motors. I run these in all my scratch builds. Why? Because they are a fantastic motor and they do the job. The biggest tip I offer anybody when they set these guys up is to take your Dremel tool and trim down the shafts just so they work. So, two of those, one for each airplane. The last time I crashed the FT Racer, I just put a brand new one on and completely macroed up the shaft and everything. So I was really disappointed because, you know, I didn't want to ruin any of that gear. Wing tape, red, orange, cheap. I was filling up the box, but now I got some bright tape. The orange stuff is going to go on the FW190 and the P51 because, well, I need it on those airplanes so I can see what I'm doing. Spitfire, Durafly Spitfire props. Yeah. Oops, those are all taped together. With the shipping changes that Hobby King has done, I've really started, instead of doing these small little orders, I'm really trying to avoid them because they've taken away their trackable shipping and they're only using registered post for stuff under 1,000 grams. So you can't track it, but that said, the 1,000 gram one is having issues. So, two props for the Spitfire. One thing I do like to do when I get a new airplane is definitely kit up some stuff in a spare spinner. What else is in here? So, servos have become a bit of a nightmare recently, so I picked up some new MX series ones. These are just simple 9 gram or 8 gram servos or something to that effect. They looked pretty good compared to the old XJ 9s. Actually, these are tinier than I was expecting, so we may stick those on some other airplanes because I don't think they're going to fly on the FT Explorer very well. They're a little smaller, a little narrower than I was expecting, so I think this will probably be on like future Aero Wings or another Micro or something like that, because those are tiny compared to, well, they're almost the same size because I happen to have some extra 500s because I only had one left. Look at that. So they are just a little bit bigger than the 5 gram servos, so which makes sense. They're 8 gram servos. Whatever, they're there. That's the point. Alarms. 2 alarms. So these are going to go on my FPV. So that'll go. One will go on the FPV Aero, and one will go on the FPV setup I'm putting on the Explorer because you can never be safe enough. I don't know what that is. I'll take that out. Another 9X, not 9X, a 515 remote. So, and oh, a little OSD, which I'm going to make swappable, I think. Most likely, though, it will live on the Explorer, so I can monitor. So, simple here, need it. And I think that was it. What was in here? Knife. Not sure what was in here. Wing tape. SD, 3-in-1 monitors. What is in this package? Now, it's probably a part out of the, actually, I'm missing parts. I'm missing parts out of my Spitfire. Unless they were somewhere else, but I don't see them. Hub King. Oh, no, they're both in here. I see 2 parts in here wrapped up. So, there you go. There's a, oops. Where'd that go? That was a big chunk of weight. Anyhow, there's a spinner adapter, and then there's a front cowl adapter for the Spitfire Mark 1. Look at that. That must be for the Spitfire. That was in with the other gear. All I can think of is it's what they put into the Spitfire to get the nose weight properly. Interesting. So, spinner adapter. With no screws, oddly enough, which is kind of funny and silly, and then a front cowl. So, anyhow, the screws probably come with the motor. So, there we go. Nice little box. Gives me some abilities to build up those other airplanes that I want to get into and have some fun. Like I said, this week has been really busy. There's been a lot going on. So, that box out of the way. Let's talk about the arrows. The 2S Arrow, phenomenal, fun. I was having a lot of fun flying this. My parents' place has got a smaller park, and this is where this kind of airplane shines, because the Arrow can really, in 2S, can just slow down and you can have a good time. James and I were giggling away as I was throwing this thing around. You really got to keep your momentum up, because obviously I'm running a slower setup with a simple 2S 500, but having a lot of fun. Now, for anybody following the social media feeds last weekend, you'll know that I kept crashing this thing for the last couple of weeks. So I still have to get in there and do the repairs from the last flight, and it took a good thump. But the first thing I did was I changed out the orange 410 receiver X, 410X, so DSMX, because I'd fly just fine. And then I would go and throw this guy. Come here. That guy. Look at that camera. So, it's beat up. It's been through a couple good crashes. All I can think of, this is the wing cam, again, from Hobby King. All we can think of is it was checking out more interference, and I just got away. If I got too far away, it would go down. But I also think there's a new pump house there, and that could be checking out some kind of interference. Either way, I went in there and I changed the receiver. So in there's a CS servos. That's the FrSky compatible one with a nice long single whip. So that's in there. All the channels are the same as before. So I'm expecting no issues. But like I said, I do have to rebuild and retape and get everything going again. Oddly enough, one spoiler actually stayed on. I think I popped off the bottom tray because I had to do some repairs underneath. That said, this thing's been through 3 or 4 consecutive crashes. It's a tough little bird, so I'm impressed and happy with that. So, speaking of failures and crashes and issues, the Mobius, I was all set to go and do a runoff between the RunCam 2 and the Mobius when it failed, and I wasn't sure why it failed. I went in, I took the battery out, I reset everything, I checked the ribbon cables. Basically, it would turn on, and it would boot up, and then booting up, boot. And I would go and I would hit record, and it would just die, dump. And so I went into photo mode, and I saw that it was writing to the card, did the memory, the mode jump and power, and I wrote the setting files to the card and everything, and so I knew it was going. Took it all apart, checked the battery, ran the battery through my charger, drained it, recharged it, checked it, knew I was getting charging because I'd plug it in and it would go green. So as a last resort, I flashed it, and that seemed to do it. Went in, plugged the settings back in, actually went and paid attention to the settings this time. I'm setting it up for cloudy. I'm going to try it on a day and see if it works, because over the winter I was really getting a lot of blowouts with the snow and the sky and everything, so it'll be interesting. That said, I have a new favorite action cam, and it is the Runcam 2. This thing is stellar outside. You've seen the footage I put up with the Radiant. It was just beautiful, just hovering around. And I've done a few other little shots with it, so really impressed. Looking forward to working with it even more. Hoping to do a run between these two, put them on the same side of the plane, and just fly together, and then get a really good, I can do side-to-side screen examples. Lots of chatter this week, talking with everybody. Really was considering, because DJI dropped the price on the Phantom 3 radically, and I was really considering getting one, but I think I'm going to put my money into a new studio camera. See, getting to that later on. So in the meantime, I really started goofing around with the Runaway Quad. So this is that mini micro APM setup, and it is slowly coming back together. Everything is, I've been playing with it. I spent a great deal of time with the radio and trying to set the flight motions up. I'm going through now, and I'm finding all my cables and how they're related, what I need exactly for, running all the various pieces of equipment. And then I'm starting to pull cables off, and the ones that are there are starting to chain down, so they'll reduce the vibration to the board and all this other good stuff. So this is another long-term slow program, and when I do go flying, you bet your bottom dollar that I'm tethering this thing to the ground somehow, so it doesn't do what it did before. But hopefully success will come to me, and I'm going to take my time and basically relearn everything about it. I will, if I do start flying, I will have to go and acquire another FPV setup, because I stole the one out of this guy to put into the VersaWing. So what else has been going on besides all the orders? There was a package that showed up last night, and I'm not really supposed to talk about it, I'm just supposed to say there was something in the box that looked kind of neat and mysterious. So so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's your Friday flying update. Just dropped the new mystery plane. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay tuned. Sunday we should be doing a podcast. The boys are going down to the Toledo show to have a good time in the indoor series and check out all the new and greatest things. So have fun. Have a safe weekend. Hope to see you flying. Thanks.